Hey, how you guys doing today? I'm Mike Trigg,
Salva Baptiste.
and this is No Losses, Just Lessons.
Yes. Welcome, Tampa Bay and beyond. Today, we want to talk about what's gone viral. What's gone viral is the fact that Shhedur
Sanders.
Sanders and the draft 2025. I mean, it's not much to add to it because it's so much going on, but we want to be a part of that conversation. So how we're going to do it today, we're going to give some background context about the NFL, if people don't know the history. When they first started out, they were founded in 1920. And so they had original 8 teams, and I'm not going to go through the teams, but just remember they was original ones, and some of them have changed their names. And as we move forward in 2015, they gave up their tax exempt status. But one of the things that have never changed, 32 white male owners have never changed. It always been white male owners that own the NFL. And over 60% are Black players in it. And as you know, the Washington Post posted how they did not, or they struggled to hire head coaches. Head coaches is something that they, for some reason, was disqualified through the pipeline. Since then, they have improved a little bit, but not much have changed. And in February, they decided to remove the lettering of end racism in the chief field. So they seem like they're walking backwards in this process. So I just wanted to lay that history out there so you can see where some of this could be construed as a racial issue, and some of it could be misconstrued as a parent that's gotten too involved. So what do you have to say about it?
I appreciate the history, but when I think about the NFL draft and Shhedur Sanders' situation, I know it's a white and Black undertone to it, but I don't really think it's a racial issue. I think that, and let me say this, I'm a Sanders fan. I think his dad is one of the best football players to play in the NFL. Matter of fact, he's probably my favorite player to play in the NFL, being he my homeboy from Tampa,
Right.
Fort Myers from Florida.
Okay.
And we all drink from the same water down here, but Shedeur is not Deion. Because if you know the history, in 1989, Deion told New York Giants they wanted him to take a psychological exam for like 2 hours. He said, "Well, what pick you guys have?" He said 10. He said, "Shit, I go."
Gone by then. I saw that video.
So the thing about it is, and when you raise your kid, they want to, and if athletes like you, they want to emulate everything you've done.
Yes.
But it's a big talent gap between Shedeur and his father.
Yeah.
And Deion won the Buckets Award. He's All-American.
Right.
Run a 4.1. You know what I'm saying? He had he checked every box for position.
Right.
And so when you him and Deion was him, you know, you can kind of, you know, be, I guess, a little brass.
Right.
But my only thing is, you got to teach your kids. And there were some things that Shedeur said that I didn't agree with. You can't say, if you pass on me, you're a fool, because you're talking indirectly to 32 owners that happen to be white.
Right.
You know, and so I just with the situation, I'm glad he got picked up. What I did like about his draft, him getting drafted in the 5th round, when they called his name, even the prank call, when they called his name, "Hey, how you doing? I've been waiting on you." He was a kid.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I'm glad to see that he wasn't disgruntled about not being in the 1st round.
Right.
Because I do know his dad is a faith warrior, and they believe in Christ.
Right.
And he said everything happened for the good of the Lord. So he's at Cleveland right now. His jersey is the third highest sold rookie jersey already. Okay.
So
It's number 1? Okay, I appreciate it, yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, so that's what it is. You know, you can't you just got to put yourself in better situations, you know.
Right.
So,
Right.
like I said, this podcast is saying no losses, just lessons. Well, I think that fits the Sanders family situation.
I agree. I agree. And I wanna just highlight some of the conversations, right?
Okay.
That's out there surrounding it. I love your take on it. I think that's awesome.
Right.
But I want to talk about some things that is circulating out there, like the word collusion.
Okay.
Okay. Collusion in law. Collusion refers to a secret agreement or cooperation between two or more parties, often with the intent to deceive or gain an unfair advantage over others. So that's one word, okay?
Right.
Now let's talk about Shhedur Sanders. He's been identified as being self-confident, and in some cases, he's been a true self-confidence is a feeling of assurance in oneself, rooted in authenticated and a belief in one's abilities and worth. That's one word. True self-confidence. The next one we have to talk about nepotism.
Right.
Okay. Nepotism is the act of granting an advantage, privilege, or position to relatives in a occupation or field.
Right.
So those three things are competing in this conversation.
Right. So
I just want to add, and the collusion piece goes with the NFL.
right.
And the other two is the Sanders family.
Right.
Okay.
So this is what I think.
Okay.
The collusion. It's. I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. It's possible that it could have been collusion with the owners, but I believe if Shedeur, you can be confident as you want to be, and still have some humility and humbleness.
Right.
You know, and I don't think he displayed enough of that for the people that's supposedly, you know what I'm saying, the owners.
Right.
So, you know, it's a tough situation.
So,
Because like, you know, Mike and Shedeur have talked plenty of times on the phone. And, you know, he wanted Mike to come to Jackson State and wanted Mike to go to FAU because he had signed, and Mike said, well, I got an offer from basketball at FAU. So, you know, that's good. But when we went to Jackson State, I said, hey, tell your dad, I said, what's up? Mike not going to Jackson State.
right.
You know what I'm saying? So the nepotism piece, it's just, I don't really know because Shedeur's only played for his dad.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I think the NFL want to see him, they want to see something different. They want to see him compete. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that every job he ever had, quarterback, he's a great quarterback, but he only played for his dad. And that was an issue.
But you just said something. You said he's a great quarterback,
Right.
but he got picked up in the 5th round,
Right.
number 144.
Right.
So would great quarterbacks be picked all the way down to that level where there's a lot more quarterbacks that maybe not as good? So
Well, I think that, so I know Jackson Dart personally. He went to New York,
okay.
and him and Mike was at Southern Cal and Ole Miss together. Jackson Dart gonna do everything right. He gonna beat early, and he is confident as hell, but it's a different undertone.
Okay.
He ain't gonna have no big chain on. He gonna be flashy, not prime time, but on the field, he believe in his ability. So that's what you gotta get to. You know what I'm saying? So even with my son, I said, bro, the person with the loudest suit is the weakest. I'm not calling Shedeur weak, but this is the teaching that I teach my son. You don't need to be loud. It's just move the way you want to move, get on the field, take care of your business. So Jackson Dart, I knew New York had a greater interest in Shedeur, but it's a safe pick for them. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of things they're saying that, you know, if they draft Shedeur, they got to deal with Deion. No, they don't. But they don't. You know, that's what they think because him and his son are so close.
Right.
And then Deion said, "You ever be hands-on with my son?" You know, but you know, you look at the NFL. Archie Manning was hands-on with Eli. You know what I'm saying? The Duke quarterback John Elway He said he wasn't going nowhere. He didn't want to go over here. If he goes somewhere, I'll go play baseball. So
That's great what you're saying. So that's not the first time these things have occurred.
right, but only thing I can tell you different, and this is what it is. This is we're gonna be real on this. Deion's black. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I mean, I can't. When he said what he's a black guy, and you don't have his pigmentation is different. You know what I'm saying? And you can't do what they do. You know, I'm just being honest with you. You might think it's crazy.
So, okay, that's why I read off the NFL.
Right.
They have since 1920, it's been it's been a racial position, and they come out and they use it when they want to flex their powers because they can in this regard. And I think before it's all said and done, it's going to be more information coming out. And to your point, if they are saying he did something in the interview, then you got to expose other people interviews too. How did that? They exposed some interviews, and there were people that did worse.
Right, but
So-
but see, Saba. So like, I'm not worried about anybody interview other than Mike's,
Right.
or Mikhail,
Right.
or DJs, or
Right.
Myers, or Yanni,
Right.
or Brianna.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? My athletes. I'm not worried about nobody else. I'm teaching. My son, just got drafted first round. Mike should be drafted pretty high next year. So right now, every time I talk to Mike, it's a mock interview.
Okay.
I'm preparing him. So
Okay.
even with the Sanders family, I've learned something
Okay.
that I already knew.
Right.
So I'm trying to get into my son's head.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because he said, "Oh, Dad, y'all was thinking about Shedeur." I said, "Man, I think Shedeur could have did some things different to help his case."
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So I know the collusion part, the piece, you know what I'm saying? But I don't really see it as a white-black issue. What I see is if Shedeur do this, and this, he's a first-round guy with the brassness. You gotta give, when you have an opportunity to play in the NFL, a National Football League, you don't give a damn where you go. I just want to play. And you don't want to take that opportunity lightly, and I think he did.
Okay.
That's my honest opinion
Okay.
about it.
Okay.
Even like Mikhail.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Mikhail said, "Dad, man, he thinking go to Dallas or New Orleans." When I said, "Mikhail, I don't give a damn where you go. It's an opportunity to play your childhood dream and get paid to do it."
Right.
How you doing? Appreciate it, Mr. Chippers. All right. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's it. And Saba, I know everybody's spending it this way, spending it that way. I'm just being honest with you. Man, if you check this box, I'm gonna go to NFL. I'm gonna be on time for every meeting. I'm gonna be on time for every meeting. The sorriest team in the league.
Okay.
I'm gonna be. This is what I told Mike. If you meeting with any personnel in any organization and it's not a formal meeting, you need to be there before they get there. When they come in there, you need to be doing push-ups. "What's up, coach?" "I'm ready." It's a formal meeting. You need to be there at a certain time. 30 minutes early, sitting there with your legs crossed. iPad, "How you doing, coach? Good morning."
Right.
That's how you gotta approach. It's a business, and nobody wants to make an investment on anybody. They're gonna be a headache.
Right.
Now,
Okay.
when you got superior talent, Deion Sanders had superior talent, Saba.
Okay.
Lawrence Phillips had superior talent, Saba.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
The Ward kid, first quarterback off the board, I think Shedeur probably had equivalent talent to him, but he was a leader of men. More so than Shedeur.
Okay.
And this is my point about that. They were playing Stanford 2 years ago. They was up by 20 at the half.
Okay.
Shedeur was texting about a watch. They
Okay.
ended up losing the game.
Because of the Texan?
He wasn't focused.
Okay.
If you're up 20 points, you don't lose that game.
Right.
And if you lose the game and there was no text game, it was just like our game plan fell through the roof. But by you texting, you see what I'm saying? By you texting about a watch, it brings all this cloud around the program and your dad. You know what I'm saying? When I coach my son, I say, "Mike, I need you to be out front." Because if you out front, they know they got to be out front.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I don't want to make it seem like I'm against Shedeur. I'm upset because he could have easily been in the first round just by doing this, this, and this, and he didn't do it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, so what do you see the Atlanta Falcon coach, coordinator, and his son?
Yeah,
So what role?
that
So
hurt.
there was something
That hurt.
in the background that caused this. So somebody had some kind of idea that they could get away with that, and it was exposed.
Right, right.
So how does that play into this? Because really, Shedeur is supposed to be a really good kid. You know, people
No, he's-
say he has a great personality.
Yeah, I mean, he does some great things. I mean, like Shedeur, I don't know if y'all know this right here, but it was a child, a newborn baby, dropped off at the fire station somewhere. He assumed responsibility of that child till that child turns 18. Everything financially gonna be on him.
That's awesome.
That's beyond awesome.
That is.
You know what I'm saying? So
I know that's a
yeah. So
that's
I mean,
a crier.
he does some great things, but this is a business.
Right.
And you can't tell if you pass on me, you're a fool. You can't be late to a meeting with your potential boss.
And he did those things.
Yes. Sad to say.
Okay. Okay. So again, you didn't speak to the fact that the young adult, the 21-year-old, who actually took his information and done the crank call.
Right.
So the idea of collusion, and you factor that into it,
Right.
what are the implications? How do you think the privacy information is being handled, and how does it impact Shhedur Sanders and his family?
Well, that was an embarrassing moment. That's it for the NFL and the defensive coordinator for the Falcons and his son. But even when he called, he pranked him. Shhedur said, "Hey man, I've been waiting on you."
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He was excited.
Right.
And wait a little longer. God gonna handle all that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But I don't think those two have anything to do with the owners. I don't. I think the dad left the computer open. The son went in, got the phone number, and just
I agree with that. It seemed like
Yeah.
it's a separate situation,
Yeah,
but it happened.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
And even I don't think I'm backing these owners because I'm not. But I just like to think that if Mike's in a situation going into that draft, we're checking every box for him to get an opportunity to play fulfill his dream.
Okay.
But the thing about that is too, Saba, you got to realize this right here. My dad already did all this, so he's entrusting his father. When my dad said, "Do this," I got to do this right here.
Right.
Because he trusts his dad. Because Mike trusts me. And I'm telling him, "Hey, you got to do this, this, and this."
Right.
And that's all I can say about it.
Okay, so we know what it is. We know that the Falcon
Defensive coordinator.
coach came out and he had to pay $100,000 fine, and the team played $250,000.
Yeah.
So is that good enough? Because let me just explain to you. Once the video was released, then Atlanta Falcon released their statement and said what the fine would be.
Right.
So they committed the action and they penalized themselves. So is that how things work?
Well, no, I'm pretty sure Roger Goodell gonna give him another fine. Probably. You know what I'm saying? If they penalize themselves, I mean, I'm pretty sure Roger Goodell would give him a fine. But
Okay.
so now it definitely boils down to for the Sanders family. Do you want to play in the NFL? Because if not, it's a lawsuit.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But you sue the NFL, you're not playing in the NFL.
Ever, because
You know
that's a
what I'm
Kaepernick kind of
Yeah,
thing.
you know what I'm saying? So you can sue them for, defamation, whatever reason,
Right.
But if you want to play the NFL, and he want to play in the NFL, he want to show. You
got
pass on me, okay, I'm going to show you what I'm
That's a
capable of.
good point.
Yeah, so.
So with the Browns, isn't there like 3 to 5 already
five
quarterbacks,
quarterbacks,
right, on
yeah.
that team?
Yeah, and I look at him and I think out of all the quarterbacks they got there, shit, he's probably 1 or 2. You know what I'm saying? I'm being honest with you. If you get an opportunity, I don't think nobody there. I like Deshaun Watson, but he hadn't been the thing. Deshaun Watson got guaranteed money. He hasn't done anything in a while, so I don't really know.
Okay.
The young quarterback they got from Oregon, Dylan, they dropped in the 3rd round. Excuse me. he's a good quarterback. He everywhere he's went, he's won. Played at University of Florida, Oklahoma, and Oregon. He played some big time games, and so I like him in Shedeur to battle to lead that team for the quarterback spot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So should we just list some of the things that Deion Sanders have accomplished? Just a few things so people can match the skills with not with his son, but some of them don't know who this man is. I mean, the people who follow football know.
Right.
Okay. So one of the things that he had a 14-year career in NFL,
Okay.
right? And he has 2 rings, one from the 49ers and the Dallas Cowboys, 1994 and 1996.
Right.
Okay. And one of the things that's really interesting about him, he was a 6 first-team All-Pro selections, and then he also had dual sports in baseball, World Series appearance 1992,
Right.
and 1997 Cincinnati Reds season with 127 hits and 56 stolen bases. Presently, he's the head coach at Colorado University, Colorado Bowlers University.
Yeah.
So with all of these accolades and his continuous contributions, he's a great player, right? He's above the greatest player, right? So
Deion was tough.
yes, and so when they see him, unfortunately, his son is caught in this kind of situation, because I'm sure that wasn't the intent.
Right.
Right. And so how do you think, knowing what you know about Deion, how do you think, you did make a good example, if Shhedur Sanders decide to play, then he's not going to sue. But if he decides to step out of that, then they may be suing.
Right.
So is there any other options, or how do you think Deion Sanders will handle it?
I think Shedeur and Shiloh's in Tampa.
Right.
I think they just got to get on the field and show. And nepotism only goes so far. You know what I'm saying? Now, your dad's hands off, you're in the phones, you're a grown man. You got to conduct yourself as a grown man. And so, you got to move away and let the chips fall where they may, but you got to make your opportunities.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So, and I think that, I think they got the physical ability to do it.
Okay.
And you just got to make better decisions. You know what I'm saying? And like you can't sandbag interviews. You got to be early. To be on time is to be early.
Right. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah. So Deion Sanders have 5 children. Out of his 5 children, he have 2 girls, and he have Deion Sanders Jr. And then he have 2 boys that are in the NFL.
Right.
Yes. And so he's definitely an NFL family.
Oh yeah, definitely. So you got it's a lot of players that have kids that's playing in the NFL right now, and or have played. And ones come to mind is of course the Manning family, because they were so successful in the NFL. Their talent exceeded their father's talent.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if Shedeur and Shiloh talent would exceed their father, because Deion was just tough. But this is a problem too, Saba, with the Shedeur situation. This is, we're talking about nepotism. So when you play football and you're the quarterback, that's your team.
Right.
You got to lead that team.
You got to lead it.
So the first week of practice at University of Colorado, Shiloh or Shedeur wasn't there. They was in Paris at Louis Vuitton fashion show. So I'm just telling you what you don't probably know.
Oh, I did know.
Okay.
No.
But Travis Hunter was at practice. You see the difference?
Right.
Okay. Now he had everything. He could have went to Paris too if he wanted to, because he was like Deion's third son.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So everything that they did, he could have done.
Right.
He never played in jewelry.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He was just a football player. He liked to fish, he liked spending time with his girlfriend and playing games. And so it's just a lot of stuff out there. And if we miss a week of practice, you can't be my starting quarterback. I'm just being honest with you.
So, okay, I get that. So where do you think what is the future of the NFL? Because this put another unfavorable light on the NFL.
No, it hasn't. That's your
Okay,
opinion.
okay.
Reason why I said it hasn't because I still believe with Shedeur texting by the watch, Shedeur in Paris at the first week of football practice. I still believe if Shedeur come in there and he's dressed and he's answering questions, and he's yes sir, no sir, you know, he gonna be a first rounder.
Okay.
I believe that.
Okay.
But when you come in and you come in, you got an entourage of people with you, whatever, and you got your head on backwards. I mean, damn, Pablo, let's make it make sense.
Okay.
I
get it.
It's making me take the position like I'm gonna get Shhedur Sanders. No, I'm a father.
Right.
Most of my kids have opportunities,
Right.
and I got to tell them how to get these opportunities.
Right. I hear you.
You know,
I do
you know what I'm
hear
saying?
you. And so, okay, I get your point of view.
Come on, man, you good?
I'm talking about the air conditioning.
Okay.
I get your point of view. So you're saying you don't think the NFL should have did anything differently?
I think the ball was in the Sanders family's court, and they shot it the way they want to shoot it.
Okay.
Now, when they did that, the NFL rebounded it, the missed shots, and did what they want to do with it.
Okay.
That's what I believe, and that's my honest opinion.
Okay. All right. So going forward, what can we expect?
Going forward, I believe everybody that's coming into the NFL in 2026, they're gonna check them fucking boxes. Excuse me, they're gonna check those boxes. Give themselves every opportunity
Okay.
to fulfill their dream.
Okay, because this is a learning opportunity, right?
No losses, because he still got opportunity in the NFL.
right.
And he learned a valuable lesson.
Exactly.
You know?
So to learn meaning change behavior,
How
right?
you doing?
Change behavior, right?
Yes.
So he's going to be demonstrating change behavior based on this experience.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Not necessarily. I don't think, I just think that he gonna be who he is.
Okay.
You know, and once he get on the field, you know what I'm saying? He's good to go. You know? How you guys doing, man? Did we win?
No, it was pretty bad. I think the level was 9-2.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. So let's we have a second subject that ties right into this.
Right.
Okay. So